seniors yoga class. When you come to sit in your chair, take a moment and just pad your feet up and down from the ground a few times. This helps to become aware of your feet and how they actually land in place on the ground. And now deliberately drop your feet onto the earth in a way where they're pointing straight forward. You can feel some of the connection points on the base of the feet. So the tops of the toes, typically just at the base of the toes, a slight bit of the outer edge of the outer arch, and the heel is where we typically create connection to the ground. So feel all of those places and actually start to press into your feet. And you'll notice as you do that, there's this lifting up feeling in the body as you press down. So that's what we want. Go ahead and press down into your feet. Now again, we're not driving the feet into the ground. We're just gently starting to increase some pressure in the feet. Notice though, as you press into the ground, that you're not clenching your toes. Keep the toes soft, but draw effort straight down through the feet into the earth. And as you do, feel that lift. Follow that sensation of lift. Sit a little bit taller. Draw the shoulders up and back. Rest your hands on your lap. And then if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. Ease a little bit of the effort from the legs now, but try not to allow yourself to collapse at all. Stay upright, stay lifted. And if your eyes are closed, truly let the eyelids go heavy. If you're keeping your eyes open, try to soften the gaze a little bit so you're not really taking in much through the eyes here. And let's take a few moments now to just come into contact, into awareness of our breathing. Allowing the inhales to help support that sensation of lifting and opening, but also allowing the exhales to soften what can be softened. Ease tension out of the places that might be holding or gripping. Maintaining a little bit of that internal awareness right on down into the feet. Keep the toes soft and start to imagine. So using some of that creative thinking, imagine the breath could come in from the soles of your feet and you could breathe all the way up to the crown of the head. Then imagine that same breath moving from the crown of the head all the way down and out the feet. So we're using a little bit of creative thinking here to guide our sensation of breathing in from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head, and then from the crown of the head all the way down and out the feet. Feel that washing motion of the breath all the way in and up, all the way down and out. And maintain that fullness of breath, that sensation of breathing in through the feet all the way to the crown of the head and then all the way back down as we start to move through cat-cow or Marjriasana. So as you inhale and the breath comes up and in, your belly will come forward, your chest will lift, shoulders back, and maybe the chin lifts. Being aware of the spine. So if you have any injuries or concerns for the spine, you may not arc your back, you might sit more taller towards the sky. Then as you exhale on your next breath out, as the breath comes down, tuck your chin in, hug your belly in and round your spine. Slide the hands forward now and cup the kneecaps with the hands. Keep the arms straight. Inhale, filling up, lifting up, looking up. Exhale, curling down and in. Good. Inhale, coming forward and up. Exhale, curling down and in. Good. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more like this. Just getting a little bit of motion through the spine. As that breath is coming in and out of the body, we want to send that energy and oxygen into the spine. Good. Curling in now nice and tight as best you can. Using your hands on your kneecaps to actually straighten the arms more. Press into the hands, curl in a little bit more, and start to shift slightly from side to side. Again, this motion doesn't need to be very big. And be aware of what's appropriate for your spine. We're just creating a little bit of stretch here through the back of the body. Good. Coming into center now, lift up through the spine. Press down into the feet again. Feel that sense of lifting, and then draw the arms up. So big inhale as you reach the arms up. Turn the palms towards the front. Take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and now gently arc over towards your left. Good. Notice here if the shoulders are riding up to the ears, let the shoulders stay down and away from the ears. And you're only lifting your arms up as high as the shoulders allow. So if there's any injury or pain in the shoulders, your arms might be more out front instead of overhead. That's okay. But we're curving the spine now over to the left. And again, you can stay here like this depending on what's going on for your spine and your back. If it's okay for your spine, you might start to lift that left shoulder up behind you, rotate the right shoulder down a little bit, and look off towards your left, moving the stretch into more of the back of your body. So still reaching through those arms, taking one more breath here. Then press into both feet again for some support as you inhale and lift back up into center. Let's reverse the grip. Take a hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Again, extending through the arms as best you can. Maybe taking them overhead, maybe more forward. Soft shoulders, arcing over towards your right. That's beautiful. You could stay here, breathing here. This is often plenty. First thing in the practice to arc the spine this way. That could give us a lot of the stretch we're looking for. So you can stay here. Or you can start to take that right shoulder now, lift it up behind you, roll the left shoulder down slightly, and look off towards your right. This just subtly sends the stretching sensation more into the back. Meeting the sensation with breathing. Let's inhale, press into the feet, rise back up into center, then exhale, release the grip, and let the arms come down. Good. Inhale, now let's take the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them back and down. It's going to feel really nice after having those arms overhead. Again, inhale, shoulders up, back, exhale them down and forward. One more time like this, take them up and back, exhaling them down and forward. Let's reverse the direction now, take the shoulders back and up, and then forward and down. Good. Back, and up, and forward and down. One more time like that. Take them back and up, and then forward and down. Good. Letting the arms now hang at your sides. Slide the shoulder blades a little closer together on the back so you're broadening across your chest. Contain the belly slightly. And when we're seated, what that means is leaning back just a little bit to feel a little of the belly muscles start to work. Good. And we'll do a little motion up in the neck, starting to turn the head gently from side to side. Good. Now again, depending on what's going on for your spine, your neck, this might be the best neck work you could do today is this simple turning from side to side. Lots of benefits just getting that motion in the neck. If there's no injury in the neck, no soreness, you can then take your head over towards your right and drop the chin down towards the right shoulder and glide it across to the left shoulder. Inhaling to lift the chin up and roll it across the ceiling into the right. Exhaling it down and across to the left. Inhaling it up and across to the right. That's just an option. If that doesn't feel okay for you, stay with the side to side turning. Let's go the other way. Inhale the chin up and across to the left. Then exhale it down and across to the right. One more circle like that. And bringing your head back into center, aligning the head right on top of the neck. Good. Shoulders on the back, heart open, chest broad, arms dangling at your sides. Let's take the right leg up now. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. And so you can let the weight of the right leg hang down into your hands. And then as you inhale, you're going to extend out from the knee. And then as you exhale, bend the knee. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Good. And these simple motions in the body are a great opportunity to really notice what's happening in the joints. So especially like our knee joint, as we bend and straighten without a lot of weight bearing or any weight bearing, you can really feel the mobility in that joint or the instability sometimes in that joint. So just pay attention to that. Notice that. Good. Next time the leg comes straight, keep it straight. And let's do the same motion down in the ankle, pointing and flexing at the ankle. And then you can roll the ankle. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. Let's roll the ankle the other way. Good. Flexing now the toes back towards the knee. That's going to engage the strength of the leg. Very similar to pushing into the foot on the floor. Bend the knee now, lift it up in towards your belly. And then maybe for some of you, you might open your knee out to the right. That's quite dependent on your hip. So if you have any injury in the hip, keep your knee pointing straight up. Otherwise, the knee might open to the side. If it's opening to the side, you're going to support your knee with your right hand and take a hold of the left foot or shin with the the right foot or shin with the left hand. And then you can start to slide your leg back and forth. If your knee is pointing straight up, again, you can move it out and in a little bit. Be mindful of that hip though. And then let's start to move the leg in circles. All right, so again, if the knee is pointing straight up, you're keeping that direction of the knee as you circle. If the knee is pointing out to the side, think more about circling the knee itself. And that often gets a good full circle into the hip. Let's reverse the circle, go the other way. All right. Very nice. Now, again, here's some options for you. If it's available to take the knee across, the foot across to the opposite knee, go ahead and do that. If that's not available for your knee, your ankle, or your hip, that's okay. Simply place the foot back down onto the floor. And again, press down equally into both feet. So two options there, both feet on the floor or one foot lifted. If your foot is lifted, flex it back again. Keep that effort in the leg. Then wherever you are, as you press down, lift up. Good. You might notice a little stretch in that right hip. Great. That's all we're looking for. So you can stay there and breathe. If you have both feet on the floor or you're not feeling a stretch in the right hip, you might start to fold forward a little bit, resting your hands on your thighs or that front shin. Keep the heart and chest lifted and open, coming forward. Let's see if we can soften the jaw joint a little bit, soften the face a little bit. Good. And then slowly rising back up. Inhale, coming back up. Good. Take a hold now of the lifted foot or the left thigh with your right hand. So you're going to come across and then slowly twist towards your left. Let's inhale, unwind slightly, look forward, and then exhale, gently twist. One more time, inhale, coming forward, and exhale, gently twist. Good, let's inhale now back into center. If your leg is lifted, support it with your hands. Don't just fling it off. Support it gently, sliding it down, placing the foot on the floor. Hands to the thighs, close the eyes for a moment, and feel down the legs. Notice even the very subtle differences of sensation between the right leg and the left leg. Pressing into both legs equally now. Sit up nice and tall. Good. And then lift the left knee up to meet you. So we're not going to round forward to get to the leg. You're going to try to keep upright as the leg lifts and the hands come under the thigh. Now, of course, you're always welcome to use a strap. If the leg isn't easily holdable or grippable, you can always use a strap there. Good. Supporting the back of the thigh then, you're going to inhale, straighten the leg out, and then exhale, bend the knee. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Good. Notice the foot that's on the floor, that right foot. Notice if the leg's kind of hanging out, the foot's kind of just sitting there passively. Bring some effort and action into the leg. Press into that foot. Then our awareness is still in the foot as well. Good. Next time your left leg is straight, keep it straight and point and flex from the ankle. Good. Then you can roll the ankle. Roll the other way. Getting some motion in all the joints of the body. You might even notice you're already heating up a fair bit as we free these joints. Good. Let's flex the toes back towards the knee again. Give the knee a bend. Lift the knee up. Now, for some of us, there is a possibility to open the knee out towards the left. That's really dependent on your hip. You want to honor what's going on in the hip. If there's any injury or you've recently had hip surgery, it might be more appropriate for you to keep your knees straight up. If your knee's opening out to the side, you're supporting it with the left hand, holding the shin or the foot with the right hand, and then gliding the leg back and forth a few times, just getting some motion in that hip. Good. Then we might start to circle the leg. Again, remember, if your leg's open to the side, you're circling more from the knee. Good. Let's try reversing it, circle the other way. And then the option here, if it's available for you, and don't force it, place your left foot on your right thigh. If that's not easily available, just simply place the foot to the floor. That's okay. The work is very similar as you're pressing into the feet on the floor, or if you have that one foot lifted, it's flexing back, keeping the same sort of effort in the leg. So wherever you are, you're working to sit up really tall. That's when we get into the sensation of stretch. So we just check that out. We say, oh, how's that left hip feeling? How's our joints feeling? If that feels okay, you might go a little bit further. But we're not going to a place where we start to feel pain or restriction of our breathing. Really important to keep that breath going. Good. Then inhale, coming back up, taking a hold of the foot or the thigh with your left hand. So the left hand comes across to the left foot or to the right thigh. And then bring your other hand around behind you for a gentle twist. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, slowly twist. Again, one more time. Inhale, back into center. And then exhale, gently and slowly twisting. Good. Let's come back into center and support that lifted leg as you slide it off, placing both feet to the floor, hands to the thighs. Close the eyes. Let the sensations balance out now between the legs. Again, just like you did at the beginning of practice, pad your feet a few times on the floor, making sure you're about mid-chair here. So I want to know that you have at least half your chair underneath you. You're not all the way back, but you're also not tipping off the front. And then you're just sort of patting the feet on the floor to really feel that placement and connection of your feet on the ground. As you come to bring them down onto the ground, the toes are pointing forward. And again, you're pressing into both feet. Bring your hands together now. Interlace your fingers and let's turn the palms forward. Give those wrists a little stretch. See how that feels. Now, of course, if there's arthritis in the hands, that might not be appropriate for you. You might feel better to hold one wrist with the other hand, or simply for today, let both hands be free. From here, we're all pressing into the feet, feeling that lift, and then maybe taking your arms up overhead. So depending on what's going on in your low back or your knees, you could stay here, pressing into the feet, reaching through the arms, feeling that fullness of breath. If there's no concern for the knees or low back, as you press down and reach up, take your next inhale to help you lift all the way up out of the chair. Come all the way up, reach up. Good. Then as you exhale, bend your knees, sit back and come all the way down. Now you know why it's so important to have some of that chair underneath you. Good. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise up, stretch up, reach up, look up. Good. Exhale, bend those knees, sit back with the hips, all the way back, all the way down. Really good. Inhale, come all the way up, reach up. We could do this all day long. Exhale, sit back and down. Very good. Last one. Let's inhale, come all the way up, stretching up, reaching up. This time as you exhale, bend those knees, sit back and pause. Right at that moment before you sit down. Good. Watch those knees. They like to fall in and they also like to splay out. Keep them right over top of the feet, knees behind the toes, then release your hands, let your arms come down. Inhale, take the arms up, lift the gaze, looking forward. Exhale, arms down, just moving the arms here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Good. Inhale, breathing through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one. This inhale, press into both feet and rise, reach up, look up, and then exhale, let those arms go. Shake the arms out. Good, give the legs a little bit of shake. If you were seated and you want to join us standing, you can come up now to join us, or you can stay seated, that's absolutely okay. Wherever you are, take your feet nice and wide apart. Bring your hands onto your hips and start to slide the hips from side to side. So if you're seated, your legs are wide apart, and you can glide your upper body from side to side. Good. So again, depending on your body and how your hips are doing today, you might start to circle your hips here. Or you might stay with that side to side motion. If you're circling hips, try circling them the other way. Good. And let's try moving the hips in more of a figure 8-like motion. So you're sort of weaving them through center. They're looping from one side to the other. Now, if you're seated, let's stay with more of the circle motion, moving the upper body over the hips. And again, let's try changing directions. With that looping motion, it's a little bit challenging to keep the same motion but change the direction. It's okay if it feels a little awkward. Give it a try. Good. Then bring the hips back into center. Really nice. Walk your feet in now so they're more directly below your hips or hip distance apart. Toes pointing straight forward. Release your arms open to the side, shoulders back, coming into our Tadasana. Again, if you feel steady here and it feels okay for you to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. If you're choosing to keep your eyes open, that's okay too. Just soften the eyes a little bit. Try bringing your hands now around behind you. Excuse me. Your hands are going to come at the back of the hips. Now, if you're seated, your hands will actually come around to hold the back sides of the chair. But if you're standing, your hands can rest there on the back of the hips. What will dictate this will be more your shoulder joint. So if you have any injuries in your shoulders, it actually might feel better to have your hands on your hips instead of around behind your hips. That's okay too. If your hands are around at the back of the hips though, your hands are sitting down onto the hips themselves. So not up at the low back, a little bit closer down on the hips. And then from here, we'll all lift our shoulders up. And again, draw those shoulder blades closer together as we come into our back bend. Pressing strongly into the feet. Feel that downward momentum of pushing into the feet, while at the same time, this upward momentum lifting you towards the sky. But keep those shoulder blades hugging together. And for many of us, we'll stay here, just feeling, experiencing the length through the body. So especially if you have any osteoporosis or injury in your spine, staying here, getting long. If the spine feels okay here, there's no injury, no concerns, you might start to curve the spine back a little bit. So when we're curving, think more of your upper chest curving back, not so much from the low belly. You want to keep a little containment there in the low belly, but we're curving through more of the upper back. Good, breathing where you are. Good job pressing into those feet. We got one more breath here. Then on your inhale, rise back up. Exhaling, releasing your arms to your sides, returning to your Tadasana. Closing the eyes if you feel steady there, or keeping the eyes open. Yeah. Okay, let's take the chair now as an option. You can take the chair to the right-hand side of your body, turning so that the chair, it's your right, turning so that the chair is on your right, or you might use a wall or a desk, but some firm support on your right side. Once you have that there, we're going to come back into our Tadasana. Taking the arms out and up overhead. So this is very similar to what we did in the chair. You're going to take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Now remember, if your shoulders feel any sharp pain or discomfort being extended overhead, you can allow them to come forward. Slowly, we're going to arc over towards the right now with the spine, pressing into both feet as you curve over. Again, feel a little bit of that containment in the low belly. Good. Then we're going to lean some of the weight into the right foot. So this is where the chair can become very helpful. If there's concerns for balance, take your right hand down onto the chair as you start to hug that left leg up into the hip and hover the left foot from the floor. So that's an option. Your right hand might stay up onto the left wrist, or it might come onto the chair. Good. Curving over, breathing here. Press into that left foot, into the right foot. My apologies, right foot. Press down into your right foot. Left foot's hovering. One more breath. Slowly place that left foot down. Inhale into your center and release the arms down. But give everything a little bit of a wiggle. Shake that out. Whew. Let's do the other side. So you can move your chair or simply turn yourself around. Coming into your Tadasana here, feet parallel, arms out and up overhead. We're going to take a hold now of the right wrist with the left hand. So your chair is on your left side. Right wrist with the left hand, curving over towards your left. So be mindful here as you curve that you're actually feeling that shape come into your spine, that it's not a case of leaning the hips out as much as it is the spine creating that C shape over to the left. But then we start to take some weight into the left foot. Slowly hugging that right hip up, hugging the right foot from the floor, maybe. Maybe you take your left hand down for a little added support. That's okay. Wherever you are, though, you're able to breathe. Good work. Breathing here. Good. Keep curving over to your left. Good job. One more breath here. Then we're going to take that right foot, slowly place it back down. Come back into center. Release your arms down. Good. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, out and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out and down. One more time like this. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out and down. Good. Give the shoulders a little shake. The arms a little shake. Good. Give the legs a little shake. And let's take the chair and turn it now so the seat is facing you. Once again, you might choose to use the wall or a table. Coming to face the support that you've chosen, returning to your Tadasana. This is our foundational posture where we align our body in relationship to the earth. We feel the stability and the strength of the support of the earth, helping us lift and stand strong and open. Good. Then let's take arms forward and up. Exhale and fold down. Hands to the back of the chair, the seat of the chair. Lift the gaze up, look forward. Then exhale, bend your elbows and gently fold down. Now be mindful of blood pressure here. Keep your head above your heart if there's concern. Then inhale, straighten the arms, lift the gaze, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the elbows, keep the spine long as you fold down. Good. Inhale, straighten the arms, look forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, fold down. Very nice. Let's inhale, straighten both arms, look forward. Take your right foot, send your right foot as far back as you comfortably can, keeping your right heel on the ground. Holding onto the sides of the chair, bend both knees here for a moment. If you're sitting in the chair, you're going to lift your right leg up, hold behind your right thigh, and extend that right leg out. With both knees bent, for those who are standing, this gives us some freedom in the hips. You're going to try to lift your sit bones out from underneath you and turn them up towards the wall behind you. Does that make sense? So you're going to take your hips and tilt them up behind you. Good. Pressing into both feet, maybe starting to straighten both legs a little. Feeling that stretch in the legs, feeling the breath, soften the jaw. Some of you might lower yourself down onto your elbows, but keep the spine long. Try not to round the back too much here. Keep a lift in the heart and the chest. Good. One more breath like this. Then if you're standing and your elbows are on the chair, bring yourself back up onto your hands. If you're seated, release your right foot down. If you're standing, take your left foot back, come into downward facing dog. Sending your hips out over your heels. If you're seated, both feet again on the floor, pressing down into both feet, palms forward and up. Leaning the chest out over the knees. You've got it. Good. Looking forward now towards your chair. Walk your feet up towards the chair. Let's bring the hands onto the back of the chair. Lift the chest up. Look forward. Take your time. Slowly bring yourself all the way up. Palms open. Shoulders back. If you're feeling steady here, go ahead and close your eyes. If you're feeling a little wobbly or lightheaded, please take a moment to have a seat in your chair. Let that pass. Now let's do one more round because we got that other leg we have to do. So let's take arms out and up overhead. Slowly fold forward, straighten the legs without locking the knees. Let the hands come down to the back of the chair, the seat of the chair. Lift the gaze, look forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, fold down. Inhale, straighten those arms, look forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, fold down. Good, one more time. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, fold down. Very good. This time, inhale, lift up, look forward, take your left foot. Step your left foot as far back as you can while keeping the heel on the ground. Bend into both knees to soften through the hips. If you're seated in the chair, you're holding at the back of the left thigh, extending the left leg out from there. If you're standing, both knees are bent, lift those sit bones out from underneath. So you're trying to peel them out from underneath and fan them up behind you. One of the best images I've ever heard used is think of a peacock feathers. Think of them lifting their peacock feathers up behind them and opening them, broadening them out. That's what we're doing. Good. Then you can start to straighten your legs, maybe. Be mindful of the sensations. Not pulling at the joints, but working within the muscles themselves. Good. Soften the jaw, gazes forward. Some of you might come down onto your elbows. Some of you might stay up onto your hands. That's okay. Breathe in here. Feel the sensations. Breathe into those sensations. Good. Coming back up onto your hands slowly. Taking your right foot now, stepping it back to meet your left foot into your downward facing dog. If you're in the chair, both feet are on the floor, palms flipped forward, arms up overhead, reaching the heart forward. Good. Looking towards the chair now, walk your feet up towards the chair. Take your hands up onto the back of the chair, pausing there. And then slowly making your way all the way up to standing, returning to your Tadasana, palms open, shoulders back, eyes closed if that feels steady for you. Once again, using that creative thought, draw your breath in from the soles of the feet all the way up to the crown of the head, then exhale from the crown of the head all the way down and out the feet. Take 3 more breaths like that. Very good. Now, if it's an available option for you today to make your way onto the floor, I'll invite you to do that now. You can use your chair for support and bring yourself all the way down. Now, that's just an option. So if coming to the floor doesn't feel okay for you, you can stay seated in your chair. If you're making your way down onto the floor, You're going to bring your legs up onto the chair and then lay down onto your back. Now be mindful, sometimes with a tightness in the upper back, our head as we lay down really tilts back and the chin starts to point towards the ceiling. So it might be a good option for you here to place a pillow or a block underneath the back of your head so you can keep your neck nice and long. Those of you sitting in the chair, go ahead and sit all the way to the back of your chair. Maybe you place some props underneath your feet for some support. And then we'll all together bring our hands onto the belly. Once again, soften or close your eyes. And now release that creative direction of the breath and shift into more of an awareness of breath. And notice the subtle sensations of your belly as you breathe. So we're not actually trying to make anything happen here. We're not trying to create motion or sensation. You're simply becoming aware of the motion and sensation that is already there. From here, let your arms now extend up towards the ceiling. So if you're in the chair, you're going to reach up overhead. Now, of course, if that aggravates your shoulders at all, you can reach more forward. But really feel a lift and extension through the arms. So those on the floor, the arms are coming straight forward from the chest, straight up to the sky. If you're on the ground, you can then slide your legs one at a time off the chair so they can extend as well towards the ceiling. If you're sitting in the chair, depending on how it feels for your spine, for your low back and your hips, you might choose to lift your feet from the floor here, or you might just keep your feet on the ground. That's okay. But we're going to start to shake the limbs of the body. So you're really starting to flick the hands about and shake the feet about, and letting this motion come right down into the arms and into the legs. So feeling a kind of shaking, a really quick, fast little motion of shaking through the limbs of your body. So whether you're seated or you're lying on the ground, you're shaking your limbs about. But we're really helping to get a drainage going from our lymphatic system, reversing the blood flow back into the organs. A little bit longer here. You got to give it a good shake. And then bring the knees to the belly, curl in. So if you're in the chair, seated, fold forward, feet on the floor. If you're lying on the ground, knees coming into the belly, holding the shins or thighs, squeezing them in. For those lying on the ground, you can then release your right arm and roll on over to your right side if that's comfortable or available. You might prefer to roll to your left, that's okay too. And then you're going to come to lay down on the ground, extended straight out. Those sitting in the chair, go ahead and move yourself forward on your chair. So again, you're sitting about mid-chair. Good. Those lying on the ground, once you have yourself positioned so you can easily extend your legs out on the ground, the chair or other furniture is not in your way, you can then bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. Lift your hips up and slide your hips over to the right. So your shoulders and hips are kind of in a diagonal line. Letting your hips come down more to your right. Then bring your knees into your belly and let your legs go over to your left. If you're sitting in the chair, you're going to turn your whole body towards the right, maybe placing a support under your feet. Take your hands around to the back of the chair and come into your twist here. I'll show you if you're on the floor. You're lifting your hips over to the right. So there's this diagonal feeling in the spine. Then the knees come in and the knees go over to your left. That's your twist. Wherever you are, take one more full breath in this twist, deep full breath. On your next inhale, slowly unwind. If you're on the floor, you're gonna then shift your hips over to the left a little bit more. So make sure they don't just land into center. Take them a little bit further to your left. Then bring your knees in and take your knees to the right. For those in the chair, you're gonna pivot yourself around towards the left. So you're facing off the left-hand side of your chair and you're holding around the back of the chair. Deep breaths in your twist here. Letting everything start to soften a little. And on your next inhale, gently unwind your body, coming around towards center again. If you're on the floor, make sure your hips and shoulders feel in line. And then take your feet wide apart and sway your knees from side to side. Just get a little gentle motion going in the legs there. Those sitting in the chair can now bring their feet, again, more hip distance apart. I like to use blocks when I come into my Savasana in a chair, is you're gonna slide all the way to the back of the chair. Just depending on the height of your chair, your legs might dangle. So we wanna give the feet support. If you're lying on the ground, you can then let your legs now extend straight out onto the ground, letting your feet flop open. If you're in the chair, your hands can rest into your lap if it's comfortable. You might even put a bolster or a blanket in your lap to rest your hands on. If you're lying on the ground, you can let your arms rest more to your sides, palms facing up. And wherever you are now, ease the eyes, closing the eyes if it's comfortable for you, or deeply softening the eyes. Letting go of the effort of looking outwards, just for these moments here. We'll take some time now to look inwards with a sense of kindness and curiosity. Go into that place inside yourself that feels very still, feels very quiet. And spend some time there. I'll bring us back when it's time to close the practice. Without trying to exaggerate your breath, simply feel as though the breath was coming in through the feet. Not trying to accentuate the breathing at all, but just notice a subtle feeling of the breath traveling up the body and then back down and out the feet. This subtle awareness of breath. Wake back up into your body here, lying on the floor or sitting in the chair. Feel the position of your legs and feet and arms and hands. Notice the weight of the body and the position of the head and neck and shoulders. Gently starting to rock your head from side to side. Maybe move the jaw around a little bit. Maybe you start to ease the shoulders slightly or curl your fingers in and out a few times. Bringing conscious motion back into your body. wiggling toes, patting feet again on the floor, or flopping the feet in and out. If you're lying on the ground, you can slowly start to bend your knees, roll yourself over onto one side, and gently, slowly make your way up to sit. You can sit in your chair or on the floor, whichever feels most comfortable for you. If you're already in your chair, go ahead now and bring yourself forward again on your chair so you're not sitting all the way back. Whatever seat or however you've taken your seat today, make sure you're in a seat that feels relatively balanced between the left and right sides of the body and allows you to sit upright, nice and tall. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart. Take this moment to acknowledge the time that you've placed into practice today. Acknowledge the effort that you've put in. Acknowledge what your body has already done for you today. Thank you for continuing to come and to practice yoga together. Namaste.